Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
Mute. ಆಯ್ತು ಆಯ್ತು
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
हरि ओम स्वामी
Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om
प्रणाम स्वामी जी
Pranam Pranam Pranam
प्रणाम
Pranam
स्वामी जी you spoke very nice in the morning.
Morning, the talk was very good, she said.
Acha, you were able to
Morning
hear.
I heard.
You were able to
Yes, I
hear.
heard in the morning.
We thought we would repeat the same.
Very nice.
On the occasion of Papa's Samadhi, that was in 1993, Pujya Swamiji elaborately discussed about we are trying to go through that particular message. We will read out what Pujya Swamiji told us in July 1993. What shall we talk about today? We have only one subject, and that is Papa. What do we mean by Papa? We take Papa to be absolute existence, the highest truth that has manifested as the universe and that is seated in the hearts of everyone else. It means God Himself. So when we say Papa, we mean God. But we are observing the Mahasamadhi day today. What does it mean? We say our Papa is eternal, infinite, birthless, deathless existence. At the same time, we say we are observing the Mahasamadhi day, which means the day on which he shed his mortal coil. They do not go together. Then how can we explain? Papa is birthless, deathless, eternal existence, God himself. He took a human form to teach us the way to realize him. That form we called Swami Ramdas and endearingly started addressing him as Papa. So the Almighty Lord of the universe took a human form, like all of us, we are all his amsha, mamevamsho jivaloke, We are all his amsha, but in his case, it became conspicuous. That form we call Swami Ramdas. So when we say we are observing the Mahasamadhi day of our beloved Papa, we mean the observance of the day of the disappearance of the form that he took and lived with us till 1963, to which we are all much attached. We missed that form. We liked that form. It was through that form we got the holy and all-powerful Ramnam. It was in that form that he guided us, gave us instructions as to what we should do to walk on the spiritual path. It was that form that loved every one of us so much that we were drawn away from our other worldly ties and got attached to it. It is that form that is coming to our mind when we say Papa. But that form is alone is not all. Here is what we have to do the manana. The moment we say Papa's the charming, inspiring form comes. But let us try to go through his own words, what he uttered. If we, when we think of that particular form, immediately his formless nirguna aspect should also come to our mind. Papa has taught us life is the expression of Atman. Awareness or consciousness is Atman. So these are all nirguna, we cannot show that. So Puja Swamiji says, as soon as we say Papa, along with that form, we should also try to bring in this. And then, when we think of that particular form, immediately his formless nirguna aspect should also come to our mind. Otherwise, we will be simply getting attached to that form. So whenever we think of Papa, let us take him to be the all-pervading, absolute existence, the entire universe, and that truth seated in everybody's heart, which means what we see before us is the form of our beloved Papa. The essence, the core, Suppose we take the label out, we have to do serious thinking on this Mahasamadhi day. That name and form becomes activated because of the life principle, So along with this, if we try to mentally, intellectually first try to understand that Papa stands for, like any other name, here when Mataji in her life, she was able to bring that into reality. She was worshipping equally the form, but at the same time she was also getting connected to the formless. She tried in so many ways to impress upon us, but we couldn't catch. Because this should be a persevering, persistent effort on our part. Because the mind immediately goes to the form and gets stopped there. Nothing wrong in going to that form, but it should not stop there. So if we see everyone like that, and if we love everyone with that attitude, then alone we can say that we have real love for Papa. Otherwise it is simply becomes attachment to a particular form. Papa, who came in that particular form, taught us that the purpose of life is to realize God, and it should not be anything less than that. He showed us the simplest path, that is chanting of the holy Ramnam constantly with all love and devotion. He assured us that if we chant Ramnam constantly with all love and devotion, we will be able to realize God in our hearts and our oneness with Him, who is all-pervading, who is everything, who is beyond everything. Papa was never tired of extolling the glory of Ramnam. From the year 1922, when he took to the spiritual path and adopted sannyas, he was clinging to Ramnam as sadhana. He was chanting Ramnam so intensely, so continuously, and with so much love and devotion that nothing else mattered to him. He wanted only the darshan of God. He wanted to see Ram as the nirguna, all-pervading existence. He did not want to see Ram only as form. Even when Lord Krishna came and stood before him in his vision, he was not satisfied. He wanted to see the entire universe as the manifestation of God, and also expected every one of us to try for the supreme experience. If we also cling to the all-powerful Ramnam, it is sure to take us to the supreme heights of God realization. It is very simple. We don't have to do anything else. Chant the mantra with all love and devotion. Be sure that God will guide us step by step to Himself. So that is how Swamiji on that day. So why we are observing the Samadhi? Just like we remove the shirt, that is why we don't say that Mahatmas died. In ashram, when anybody passes away, what is the language that is used, He was called by Virat Papa. In the vision, right from beginning, if you go through that, you will find there won't be a mention of this death or expiry. He was called by Papa. God gave him, God took him back. So similarly, in the Mahatma's case, what we say, they dropped the body. Why do we say dropped the body, We still, the moment we close our eyes, he comes before us in that form. Amarho, That is why he is beginningless and endless. So Amaratvam, immortality, that when they have got this, when they drop the body, shed the body. That is how we say. So like that, 1963, he dropped the body. But still continues to be with us. Closely with us. When we close our eyes and bring him before us, we can talk to him, we can seek his advice, we can plead, we can appeal, we can complain, anything. You came in that form and you touched me, kindled me, guided me, but still I am not mature enough, for my purity has not reached that stage where I am in a position to fully translate whatever you have suggested to us. So give me the mindset where, even give me that power because of which the mind gets cleansed of all debts, so that I will be able to go along with what you have said. You chanted, we are also chanting. Suddenly we look at what are we, why we have not been able to progress. His was total, we are not exclusive. When it became total for him, the individual person realized the presence within. We have faith, we have devotion, we have respect, reverence for our master. We have faith in Ramnam to a certain extent. But still the me and mine is there. And when we are involved in various activities, family, profession and society, we don't remember him. That is why we say we are not exclusive. There is a gap. So he also gives us, whenever we chant, he gives us some joy. When we stop this, we are back to square one. There were many occasions in our life whenever we were confronted with so many of the so-called labeled tense situation. He came to our rescue outwardly, inwardly. And then at that time, for a second, we might feel, yes, God has helped me, Papa has helped me. But again, when we are involved, we forget about it. So this touch and go has been with us because we are not exclusive. Not that the power of the Ramnam is not there. Whenever we chant, we get. That's why we are chanting, for the past so many decades we are chanting. So now how to make it exclusive? Because today we were reading Mataji now mentally we bring that inspiring form before us, give our Sashtanga pranams mentally, touch his feet, and then repeat the word that Puja Mataji made to the then devotees. To the then devotee, repeat before taking the body of beloved Papa to the Homa Mandir for cremation. Very inspiring, And this was first she said in Malayalam, later it was translated into English. So she said, Puja Papa came to the world to give us sakshatkar, self-realization. He has granted us all material benefits. Now we have to pray to him only for the inestimable blessing of attaining his Shashwata Swarup. That is merging in the infinite. Then she asked the devotees to come one by one and prostrate before Puja Papa, praying for the realization of the eternal. She then took Puja Papa's right hand and placed it on the head of each one of them. Now we have to pray to him only for the inestimable blessing of attaining his Shashwata Swarup, that is merging in the infinite. So on this day, we were not there, in 1963 at the time of Papa Samadhi, we were not here, so we couldn't see. But we could understand it from the vision in 1964. All these things are there in the vision. So literally, we picturize in our mind. There were a few photos also in ashram. So from that photo also we could understand how the body was kept in the bhajan hall and how Mataji, with that, she was also very weak at that time. And then she said, "You everyone come forward, pray for Sakshatkar." And she placed Papa's hand, on their head. Two things we learned. Not only that we should be asking only for Sakshatkar, number one, we try to recognize the mother's anxiety to help us all to develop this, not to get stuck with anything less than that. Her motherly concern for all of us. Because apart from scaling the heights in the spirituality, she also comes down to the position of her earthly mother. Immediately the question will rise up in our mind, has it ever occurred to us to pray for the Shashtra Swarup? Whenever we are in trouble, whenever we want anything to be done, we pray to Papa, seek his blessings. That's okay. But we are reminded of the words of Puja Mataji that we should seek for Sakshatkar only. We should realize the concern for all of us that Puja Mataji bore in her heart, that all of us should reach the same state which Papa had scaled. Samadhi Day is a day for renewal of our commitment to become one with him. That is the real purpose of observing today, Somewhere it should go direct to the heart. This is what Mataji wanted all of us. We all know if Mataji was not there, ashram would not have taken place. So we have been drawn here only because Mataji was with Papa. Left to Papa, Papa would not have set up this ashram. So her concern, and even when the body was lying, from what we understand now, that she was only telling, come on, one by one, seek for Sakshatkar. Because that was the last time when we can see the body. Offering the mortal coil of beloved Papa was treated as a homa by Puja Mataji. She wrote on 30th July 1963 in the vision, the divine form lying on the bed was placed on a bed of sandalwood and fragrant flowers, garlands, different types of perfumes, incense, camphor, and the sandalwood base was lit, and the homa was started at 11:05 a.m. By 6 p.m., the holy ashes were collected in big vessels and kept in the room adjoining the bhajan hall, and will be securely enshrined within the cement platform in the same room on which beloved Papa used to sleep in the early days of the ashram. In the place where the homa was performed, construction of a small mandir for meditation has been undertaken. Idols or images will not be kept for worship in this mandir. All the devotees are requested not to send or bring any images for worship here or anywhere in the ashram. It was our beloved Papa's wish that we should behold him in all forms and consider the service rendered to all forms as his worship. So in accordance with his divine wish, it is decided not to place images in this mandir. We all remember, when we started coming, from 1964 onwards, when we started coming, till 1988 there was no image in the Homa Mandir. Homa Mandir used to be always silent. Devotees who would like to spend time for inward journey, they used to go and sit. The mandir would be kept open from morning till evening. There was no ritual, no image, nothing. But every visiting devotee or inmate used to make use of this place for inward journey. Initially, Puja Mataji herself was leading the silent session. When we used to come and go, we used to spend at least 1 or 2 hours there morning and evening. We choose any method. So we used to have the small book like, the speaks or glimpses or saying, something like that. Mentally we would read for 5-10 minutes, then close the book and with the theme contained, we try to dwell upon the theme gone through mentally, then chant Ram Nam mentally, do the pradakshina. It is all an effort to take an inward journey. Mataji was very particular about this. We cannot go back to those days, but can relive those moments. Now that Homa Mandir is also like the other Samadhi Mandir, we have been prompted to choose the Centenary Hall where there are no images there, no rituals there. At least one place should be free from all photos, images or anything that is traditional, where we try to connect ourselves with the cosmic reality. Here. Then to top it all, Mataji gave us this wonderful, or is it not? It is not a dictum, because this has come from her own experience. But we should at least memorize it, imprint it in our heart. What is it that? Omnipresent Papa's ashram means the whole universe. It is to enable us to learn this, that this ashram was established by Beloved Papa. So, from the form to the formless, all her words, we should not take it lightly. Omnipresent Papa's ashram means the whole universe. It is to enable us to learn this, that this ashram was established by Beloved Papa. So on Samadhi Day, it is better to remember all these things and the following words of Puja Mataji. Whenever I thought of God as Ram, I felt God was far away from me. But when I thought of God as Papa, I felt his nearness. By this practice, after some time, I realized, now this is very important, that all my relatives are yourself, and the thoughts about them as such disappeared. Then I looked upon everybody as you alone. I got the vision to behold you as everyone and everything. So to her we can say, in the computer language we can say, the Papa's outer physical form was the password to divinity. Through that form she entered into this. So on 60th Samadhi Day, now she makes us to go through all these words and thoughts. When Mataji said Papa, immediately she defines who Papa is. She says, you must know who Papa is. Papa is Nirgun, Nirakar, Shashwat, all-pervading existence. You can get some idea of Papa's Swarup if you stand on an open ground and look at the sky. The space where there is nothing between the earth and the sky can give you an insight into Beloved Papa's all-pervading existence beyond all names and forms. The great void. Everything is contained in this container. Just like space has no akar, no form, therefore no attributes, nirguna, nirakar, nirvikar, and it is always there, irrespective of the fact whether we build something, we demolish something. So it's called Shashwat. And because the sense of individuality is not there, that experience normally is named as Anand, not Sukham, Anand. Papa himself defined what is Anand, objectless happiness. So we try, when we think about the space, we get some idea. So when we say Nirguna Nirakara Shashvat Nirvigara Shashvat Ananda Swarup, on this day, because you might know we have many a times shared this in the satsang of Puja Mataji's sadhana period, where everything, she was meticulously following whatever Papa did, but still her attachment to the form was there. And Papa cut that, asking her to go out of Kasaragod ashram and stay in Rame's house, and then from there Mataji writes that letter that she will not come back to the ashram until she finds Papa inside. So it was made clear, no? So that is why she could scale the height. At that time, Papa made it very clear, if you cling on to the form, you will not be able to do it. So his Nirguna Swarup cannot be compared to anything. To give you some idea, I would say that it is like the vacant space between us, which is all pervading. He cannot enjoy his bliss as Nirguna, but he willed he should enjoy it. And in order to do so, he projected himself as the entire universe and the multitudinous beings and creatures in it. Beloved eternal Papa hides himself, and therefore all are not aware of his existence in them. In order to make them aware of it and to reveal himself in their hearts, our beloved Papa Sadguru came in a human form to guide them. It is possible to guide human beings only through a human form. Therefore, the Guru comes in a human form to teach and guide humanity. And so, beloved Papa's presence is not only confined to the Bhajan Hall and Homa Mandir, he is not only all-pervasive in this holy ashram, but it lives and moves in and through us. Pujya Swamiji also wrote a touching article which appeared in the Vision of October 1963. First it appeared in Bhavan Journal. We are not bringing the entire, some portions. That article started with this quotation of Papa. Find the Guru within you. True vision means the vision of the reality within you. These are all precious words, The man of ignorance clings to the external forms for support. So long as a man does not see the great truth he is in search of within himself, he can never know peace. Emphatic, in unmistakable terms. On the 60th Samadhi day, he is prompting us to go through these words, Find the Guru within you. True vision means the vision of the reality within you. The man of ignorance clings to the external forms for support. So long as a man does not see the great truth he is in search of within himself, he can never know peace. These words and similar ones to this effect were more frequently uttered by our beloved Papa during the last few years. In 1963, Pujya Swamiji writes this. Was he preparing us to stand on our own legs by turning our gaze within to realize the great truth and not to mourn the inevitable end of his physical frame? On 25th July 1963, when the sun was setting, the great sun of India, nay, of the whole world, was also preparing to shuffle off his purest and most ideal physical instrument, which he used for the service of mankind for over 40 years. From Vittal Rao to Swami Ramdas, that took place in 22 December, say 23. 40 years, 63 he dropped the body. For an ordinary onlooker, that evening marked the end of a most glorious life. In his wandering life, his inner vision underwent radical change, being molded by his master Ram. The result was that in the course of a few years, he realized his oneness with the absolute reality and the universal manifestation. The servant and the master had now become one. He thus reached the peak of God realization. After that, he had nothing more to do for himself but to play with his master, manifested as the whole universe, assuming for the sake of Leela the duality of child and mother. It was in course of such a divine play that Anandashram came into being. During its remarkable history of 32 years, because Swamiji delivered this speech in 93, it has attracted thousands from all parts of India and abroad and rendered distinguished service in spreading the gospel of the divine name and universal love. Thus, Papa has played his part in the world drama most wonderfully. He has quitted the stage without notice, leaving us all aghast. Unless we, his devotees, strive to follow his teachings and see him in our heart, we are likely to retain this sense of loss. The void must be filled up by bringing in the light of love to illumine our lives. L capital. This is possible only if only we are ready to follow even a fraction of his precepts, which cover various aspects of spiritual life. He lived the life divine in absolute freedom, ever swimming in the ocean of peace and bliss. As a friend put it, just when the body was turning to ashes, a life like his alone is worth living. Right from our young age, whenever we say the word God, we immediately look at the sky, upward. Because to us, he is above us and therefore away from us. We have never taken him to be an inside reality. So that must have prompted Mataji to bring out these words. Whenever I thought of God as Ram, I felt God was far away from me. But when I thought of God as Papa, I felt his nearness. Papa named Ram for the subtle and mysterious power, which is the substratum for all creations. In order that we don't get carried away by the usual concept, in his first book, in the first page of In Quest of God, he wrote what Ram stands for. However, in Mataji's case, because of her previous concept of God, using the word Ram, she thought she is far away from him, so she requested Papa for the permission to use the word Papa wherever he used the word Ram. That is why she said, when I thought of God as Papa, I felt his nearness. It is a point on which we have to do some manana. At the same time, Mataji, we feel, maintained the reverence to the form. And at the same time, even when Papa dropped the body, the way in which she used to offer her pranams in the shrine, we used to witness, and she did not feel that she was placing her head on the foot of a photo or image. She was feeling the living presence. So that means she was equally giving reverence to that form and at the same time getting herself connected to the impersonal aspect. So she prescribed the same method for all of us because it may be difficult to fix the mind on an impersonal aspect, nameless, formless, without a support. Very practical. It is felt that our effort should be to install him inside. Because with all said and done, still he is an object of worship, object of reverence. We have still not taken him as the omnipresent Papa, who is inside and outside. So what can we do to install him? Though he is there, we have to install him. Otherwise, our me and mine only will be there. Beloved Papa's presence is not only confined to the bhajan hall or home mandir, it is not only all pervasive in this holy Anand ashram, but it lives and moves in and through us. To know that, with the freedom he has given, we are installing him. Here, as devotees, we should develop our own method. No? When we read this, reread this, do manana, pray to him to feel, and that he made us to install him in our mind along with the curtain of me and mine. That is okay. But every now and then we have to remember that he is there inside. When we go to the temple, we know during the Naivedya time or something like that, they close the curtain and then they open them and we all have the darshan. Similarly, all of us try to become aware of his presence. Though the curtain is there, let us try to see, feel and experience that he is there inside us. Every now and then we try to remove the curtain and see him and then function as an individual always, knowing that he is there and he is making us feel as an individual and making us to think, talk and act. So this morning, this is how he prompted us. When Puja Swamiji was not complaining, Swamiji never complains, was making a reference that when people see him, they used to do prostration, so he was feeling highly embarrassed. So he took it up with Papa. Then Papa immediately said, pass it on to Ramdas. No? That means what? When somebody prostrates before us, we have the installed figure in our mind. Immediately they are directly prostrating before Papa. Puja Swamiji was telling, after that there was no tension. Though he doesn't allow anybody to touch or anything, he was discouraging people also because it will not help them. Reverence okay, but it will not help them finally, because every time Papa keeps on go within, go within, go within, go within. We all remember when we started coming here. Swamiji will discourage us to do that. So, however, so when we go to a temple, we know during the Naivedya time or something like that, they close the curtain and then they open them and we all have the darshan. Similarly, all of us try to become aware of his presence, though the curtain is there. Me and mine is the curtain. Let us try to see, feel and experience that he is there inside us. So whenever there is a pause moment in our life, during our hectic activities with family, profession, society, we will still get. That is why he said, even the period ever so small. We try to look within. Papa, make us aware of your presence, please. Then again we are back to square one. So we are maintaining the activities like an individual from outside, but there is a inward connection, every now and then, whenever it's possible. Every now and then we try to remove the curtain and see him and then function as an individual. always knowing that He is there and He is making us feel as an individual and making us to think, talk and act. Even when we enter the temple, when the curtain is closed, not that we go away, no. We know that He is there inside, we wait for some time. Similarly, we feel His presence now and then initially. Let us keep on reminding us that Papa is not only outside or inside Anandashram or in the Home Mandir or in his books or in his photos, but also He is in us. To use his own words, He is the impersonal person inside us. So today we try to contemplate upon this vital aspect and try to realize that He stands for both personal and impersonal. So now we pray to Papa, you have taken us thus far. Why don't you please take us further? And make us feel that you are there. Our old habit is when we have to look at the photo, no? So it looks as if we are struggling. So by constantly, I won't say constantly, nobody will be able to do constantly, okay. Every now and then, whenever there is a pause moment, there is a sattvic moment, when we try to pump in this idea, hammer this idea, you are there, okay. You are making me to function as an individual, okay. But make me aware, no? In a subtle way at least you make me aware. Like that, this dialogue. Though you are there now in my heart, I am not aware. I still place you as an outside object of worship. Please remove that. Not with the help of a thought, but with a kind of feeling, What we are talking is thought. But the thought should ultimately end in the feeling of your presence. Which can't be conveyed through words or thoughts. You must take me unto yourself. You must remove the curtain of me and mine. Please enable me to feel your presence. Ultimately, I want to become one with you. That feeling of the inner presence is very important. So let that be our prayer on the 60th Mahasamadhi day. We know now that this is possible only because He has blessed us. We are deeply grateful to Him. It is purely because of His love towards us that He made us to dwell on all these important points on this auspicious day. You made me to feel me as an individual. You made me to forget you. Now you made me to intellectually remember you, and you made me to pray for the experiential realm. That is why even the very act of prayer is because of His grace. Anyway, we come back to the individual level and say, prostrations to you, Papa. Salutations to you, Papa. Kindly enable all of us to realize your eternal being. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So there should be a firm resolve, fixed resolve. From today onwards, He is within us. We can bring that form, because then it is very sweet. We don't have to break our head, no? That absolute, it's difficult, forget about it. So we will try to now install Him here. And we know that whenever we are acting outside, we may not be able to remember Him. Okay. But during the day, He will give us some moments where He will make us to remember Him. And gradually it will gain momentum. Surely it will gain momentum. The other day when we were reading that call on the Lord, He said, He's rushing towards you. No? Now slowly we understand. The moment we think in terms of His presence, in what all ways He extends His love, so from today onwards, those of us who still felt that Papa is an object of worship, we will try to install Him in our heart. Retaining our individuality. As and when He desires, as and when He wills, He will make us remember Him, because we have installed Him. Now probably we understand also when we go to the temple, when they have this curtain. And then they remove the curtain. We all wait there, We don't go away. Because we are pining for that moment when the curtain will be off. We try to understand all the significance behind all those rituals outside. When we stand before the deity, we would have had the darshan of the deity. And suddenly the announcement comes, leave, curtain will be closed, or he closes the door. None of us will go away just because, we have already seen. We will remain there, The same anxiety to see Him. We have seen Him already. Think about those moments, This is how Papa rehearsed everything to us. We try to bring all these things in our mind. In spite of having the darshan of the deity, similarly when we go to an ashram and we see a Mahatma, and suppose he says, we cannot see him now, please wait. Do we go away? We remain there. We patiently wait for that Mahatma to come. We would have seen him before. But still the same excitement, same anxiety. We all remember when we get down at Kanyaghar railway station and getting into the taxi first, then later on auto rickshaw or bus. As we start moving towards ashram, something will well up in our heart, As soon as we get down at the flag post, and as we move towards Puja Mataji's room, that experience everyone can feel, those who have gone. Because it is not that we are seeing her for the first time. So Mataji made us to feel that, no? The moment we go to that room, open the room, and then when we meet her, ah, one or two words, that is enough. Eppa vannu, that is enough. Nothing else we require. Her whole care and concern, love, everything is capsuled in that one or two words, but her gaze, So similarly, when we keep her inside, that is why, Papa, you remember, many a time we have repeated that Papa Mataji is in everybody's heart, God is in everybody's heart, you are in everybody's heart. Papa could declare, Papa Mataji is in everybody's heart, God is in everybody's heart. Okay, you are in everybody's heart. So that stage, if we should reach, first of all, we should know that Papa is there in our heart. So the feeling of his inner presence is very important. Let that be our prayer for the 60th Mahasamadhi Day. How many times we repeat, still we are not satisfied, no? Prostrations to you, Papa, salutations to you, Papa, pranams to you, Papa. Kindly enable all of us to realize your eternal being. This is how he is now, our inner equipment is being charged, It is kept alive. The tempo is kept alive. And that is why all these days are remembered. Otherwise it is like every day, But Papa is giving us an opportunity to remember all these things, to dwell on this intensely. So let us take this take-home message of installing Papa in our heart and having a regular contact. Okay, we are busy, he will not mind. Even before we have installed him, he is there, he has been there. And he has never complained, you have ignored me, you have not turned towards me. So he won't complain. Now knowingly we have to do it. That is why this word installation, otherwise, pradishta. Just like we do pradishta in the temple. God is all pervading, he is already there. He has brought granite stones, rocks, marble, everything. But in order to again make us aware, he prompts an ordinary human being like us to carve out this particular form in his own creation and then install it. Superimposing the all-pervading reality to that form, a formless reality to that form. So same thing we are trying to do now. He is already showing us in the form of temples, where it is not brought from the sky, When we came to this world, he has made everything in the form of Mother Nature. So from this, he prompts, just like all other creature comforts, he prompts a human being to carve out this from his creation like rock or marble, and then bring out a proper structure. And he has also given the blueprint, the science behind it, and also certain norms to be followed. And then the Pradishta Mahotsav takes place, installation. Then after the Pradishta, at the time of Pradishta, you may not know this, suppose in a village, the devotees develop this devotion and they want to have a temple. The Tantri who does this Pradishta, normally he will advise. If you are not in a position to do daily puja, you tell what is your sankalpa. Now, very near this ashram, in the Manchapati hill, when the Lord Anjaneya temple was built and when the installation took place, on that day the office bearers prayed to Lord Hanumanji that we will have the puja on every Paurnami day. That's all. You just think, all these things are made through the human beings, all sankalpas. Somebody will say, I will do weekly once. Those, those who are prompted from within and those who have been blessed with all the necessary things, they will say, we will have a regular pujari to perform. So like that, this is not something we are imagining. What we have been witnessing outside in the form of a temple worship, where the Pradishta Mahotsav takes place, we have to do the same. Though he is there, we are bringing him in the form and doing the Pradishta. Kindly think over this. He is giving us a wonderful, palpable suggestion, practical suggestion. It is not a tall talk. Everyone. Before closing, one more experience we will share. Some time back, many years back, when we went to Haridwar, Rishikesh and Haridwar, we were staying in a Ayyappa temple there. Malayalis have set up a Ayyappa temple. Very simple temple. You are given a mat and you will be given a 5 rupees, you give a locker. You can keep all the things there. But what struck us was the pujari. There are 3 temples. Main is Ayyappa temple and one is dedicated to Lord Ganesha and the other one to Devi, Shakti. So these 3 are there. The one is in slightly bigger form. So whenever he passes through, every time he will bow down. Initially we were not able to understand. But when we started closely observing it, suddenly, intuitively we felt, the living presence is there. He is not seeing it as an inanimate stone. He is seeing with full of Chaitanyam. So it is a superimposition accepted, but it's a feeling that wells up in his heart. So like that, the feeling, So when we install him, all these things will help us. So from the outer layers, we will keep now Papa inside from this day onwards. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
प्रणाम स्वामी जी।
प्रणाम प्रणाम
हरिओम प्रणाम स्वामी जी।
हरिओम हरिओम
हरिओम स्वामी जी।
हरिओम हरिओम हरिओम
हरिओम प्रणाम स्वामी जी।
प्रणाम प्रणाम प्रणाम